This video explains how to conduct an entire data project in R programming. So first we will speak about how to import data sets, then we will manipulate our data, we will visualize our data, we will analyze our data, and last but not least, we will also apply a PCA dimensionality reduction technique to our data to enhance our results. So without further ado, let's jump right into it. As a very first step, we have to install and load two packages. So here in this tutorial, we are going to use the dplyr package, which is used for data manipulation, and the ggplot2 package, which is used for data visualization. I have installed both of these packages already, so for that reason, I'm just going to load them using line 3 and line 6 of the code. So after running these lines of code, all the packages and functions are imported. Then in the next step, I'm also going to import an external data set. And this external data set is taken from the Kaggle website. I will put a link into the description of this video where you can download the data. However, I have already downloaded the data and stored in this file location. So I have created a folder called datasets with this file location path. In your case, you have to specify a different file location path depending on where you will store this dataset. So after running line 8 of the code, this path object myPath is created, as you can see at the top right. And then in lines 10 and 11 of the code, I'm going to read the dataset using the read.csv function in combination with the paste0 function. Then within this function, I specify our path, and I also specify the file name, which is most streamed Spotify songs 2024.csv. So now you already get an idea about our data content. And then I will store the output of this in a new data set that I call my Spotify. So after running lines 10 and 11 of the code, this new data frame object is appearing at the top right. We can also click on this data set to open a new window. And then you can see that we have different information about our Spotify songs. So here you can see that we have the track name, we have the album name, we have the artist, the release date, and so on. So here in this case, you can see that the all-time rank in 2024 is taken by Tommy Richman with the song $1 Million Baby. And now you can also see that there is certain information about these songs. So here our target variable is the Spotify streams variable. So here you can see how often these songs have been streamed. So for example, this song was streamed 390 million times. And then you can also see other information such as the Spotify playlist count, the YouTube views, the TikTok posts, and so on. So this is the data we are dealing with in this tutorial. Now, you might already have noticed that some parts of the data are not formatted well, and also some columns might not be so relevant for our analysis. So here in this analysis, we want to predict Spotify streams, and for that reason, some columns might not be relevant, and we also have to modify the columns that we are going to use. And this is what we are going to do in the next step, starting in line 13 of the code. One reason why I wanted to show you this video is also that I wanted to showcase what you can expect when enrolling into one of the courses at Statistics Globe. Because we have many different courses available depending on what topic you are interested in. So we have an introduction to our programming course for absolute beginners. Then we have a data manipulation course using dplyr and the tidyverse. We have a data visualization course using the ggplot2 package of the tidyverse and its extension packages. Then we have a course on statistical methods in R programming, and we also have a course on principal component analysis from theory to practical application in R programming. So if you are interested in one of these courses, please check out the link below in the description. So here in this case, we are using the Spotify dataset that we have just created. And then we are using dplyr pipes, as you can see here. So this basically means that we are transforming the values returned by the previous step to the next step. So in this case, we are using the dataset. and then we are selecting certain columns in the next step using the select function. Then we are moving the output of this to the next step, where we use the select, sort, and names functions to sort our column names. Then in the next step, we replace empty character strings with an A. In the next step, we modify the commas in our numeric data cells and replace them by nothing, basically. So we want to remove the commas, and we also specify the data class to be numeric. So for that reason, we use the as.numeric function to convert our columns. And then in this case, we also want to replace all values in our data set below 10 by an A, because I have already noticed that in our data set we have some strange, very low values which don't make sense, and for that reason I want to replace them by an A. And then I also specify that I want to apply listwise deletion, which means we are removing all rows which contain at least one NA value. Please note, in practice, this is not the best approach. Usually you should use missing data imputation techniques, but for the sake of simplicity in this tutorial, I will simply remove these rows. So after applying all these data manipulation steps, you can see that our data is updated, because now it contains only 2,292 rows instead of 4,600 rows as it did before. However, we still have a substantial amount of data available. We also have 14 variables, so this is something we can now work with. So after this data manipulation step, I will move on to data visualization. So now, after preparing our data, it makes sense to visualize our data. And for this, we can use the ggplot2 package, as you can see in the next lines of code. And here in lines 28 to 30 of the code, I create a very basic density plot. So here within the ggplot function, I specify our dataset mySpotify. And then I have to specify aesthetics for my plot. So in this case, I specify that the x variable should be equal to our Spotify streams. So this is our target variable. And then I add the geom_density function to this because I want to draw a density plot. So after running lines 28 to 30 of the code, you can see that a new graph is appearing at the bottom right. We can enlarge this graph by clicking on the zoom button. And now you can see here the density of our Spotify streams. So as you can see, there are obviously very few songs with a very high stream number. And then we have a peak here around this value. So here you can already get an idea about the distribution of the stream numbers in our data. So in the next step, I want to add another component to this plot. So in this case, I want to create two densities, one for tracks that are explicit and one for tracks that are not explicit. And we can do that by specifying the call argument within the aesthetics of our ggplot2 syntax. So call corresponds to color. And then we will also use the factor function to convert our dummy variable Explicit.Track into a factor class, which tells R that this is a categorical variable. And then based on this, we will split our density into multiple densities. So as you can see, this is exactly the same as in the previous example. The only difference is here, line 34. So after running these lines of code, you can see that another graph is appearing at the bottom right. Now you can also see that we have a legend, which tells us that the red density corresponds to Explicit.Track equals to 0. So this is not an explicit track. And then we also have the value 1 for explicit tracks. And now you can see that there are slight differences between these densities. So it seems like more tracks on the lower end are explicit, and then we have more non-explicit tracks with very high stream counts. Now this graph does not look very pretty yet. So for that reason, we can apply many different steps to enhance this graph, as I will show you in the next step. And we can also combine the ggplot2 syntax with the dplyr syntax, as you also can see here. So here in this case, I specify our my Spotify dataset. Then I specify that I want to change the legend items with a data manipulation step. So here we are using dplyr syntax. And then we pipe this into our ggplot2 part. So here we are now calling the ggplot function. We specify that we want to show the Spotify streams with the Explicit.Track as color. Then we change the line width of our densities. We change the plot labels. We change the theme of our plot. And as you can see here, we are specifying many different things. And if you want to learn more about ggplot2, I have also a dedicated course for this, link in the description. However, if you run all of these lines, you can see that another graph is created. And now you can see this graph looks much prettier because now we have a nice title. We have moved our legend to the top. We have removed the legend title. We have changed the labels here to no and yes. We have changed the entire theme of our graph. So as you can see now, this plot is already much prettier. And if you want to learn more, check out my course. Now, in the next step, after data visualization, we would typically analyze our data. And in this video, I want to estimate a linear regression model. Of course, there are more sophisticated ways to analyze your data, but linear regressions can also be sufficient in some cases. And here in this case, I want to use a linear regression model using the lm function with Spotify streams as the target variable and all the other variables in our dataset as predictors, which is specified here by this dot. And then we are storing the output of this in a new model object that I call myMod. And then you can return the summary statistics of this model using the summary function, as you can see in line 52 of the code. So after running this line of code, you can see an extensive output which shows the regression coefficients of our predictors. It also shows the p-values and it shows which variables have a significant relationship with our target variable Spotify streams. So this is a typical regression output that you might already have seen. And if you want to learn more about this, then you might check out my course on statistical methods in R, where I'm explaining linear regression models and many other statistical methods and how to apply them in R programming. So now in the next step, I want to show you another technique which can also be very useful when analyzing or modifying your data. And this is a principal component analysis. And one big advantage of principal component analysis is that it can reduce the dimensionality of your data. So if you have very large data sets, then you can apply a principal component analysis, or in short PCA, to basically search for principal components which incorporate as much variance of your data as possible. And then you can remove the least important parts of your data and come up with a much simpler data set which contains much less variables but still retains as much information about your data as possible. And this can, for example, be helpful when you have a very large data set and want to analyze a predictive model. And if you have too many variables, then you might not be able to compute this model. And for that reason, you might want to create or apply a principal component analysis first. And this is what I want to show you in this last example of this tutorial. And for this, we first have to extract our target variable Spotify streams from our data, as you can see here in lines 54 and 55 of the code. So once again, please note that I use dplyr syntax. So now we have a data set which contains only the predictor variables. And now I apply the prcomp function to this data object to create or to apply a PCA. And I store the output of this in a new data object that I call PCA result. And then I apply the summary function to return certain summary statistics about our principal component analysis. And here in this case, we are mainly interested in this bottom row, which tells us how much percent of the variation in our data set is explained by our first components. So as you can see, the first principal component, PC1, already explains almost 30% of the variation in our data. And if we then add the second principal component, we have explained already 48%. And by adding further principal components, we can explain more. So if we keep all components, we have explained 100% of the variation in our data set. But then this would also mean that we have not reduced the size of our data. And for that reason, we might decide, based on certain criteria, how many components we want to retain and how many we want to remove. If you want to learn more about that and about principal component analysis in general, then check out my online course on principal component analysis from theory to practical application in R, also link in the description. However, here in this example, for simplicity, I want to keep so many components that I still have at least 75% of the variation in my data explained. And as you can see here, based on this value, this is achieved by keeping only 5 components. So for that reason, I extract these data in a data frame, as you can see in lines 60 and 61. So here I add our Spotify.Streams data, and I also keep the values of the first 5 principal components. And then I store the output of this in a new data set that I call my Spotify PCA. And then in the next step, I use this Spotify PCA data to estimate a linear regression model with Spotify.Streams as the predictor. Please note there are also more advanced methods to do that, but for demonstration, I'm using a PCA, or in this case, this is also called PCR for this, which means principal component regression. And then I'm storing the output of this in a new data object that I call my mod PCA. So after running line 63 of the code, you can see that this is created. And now we can apply the summary function to this model object, as you can see in line 64. And then we once again obtain such a regression output. However, here in this case, you can see that we have used only 5 predictors. The model is much less complex. And you can also see here, based on this adjusted R-squared value, that we are close to the adjusted R-squared of our original data set. So here we had an adjusted R-squared of 0.85, and now we have an adjusted R-squared of 0.8, which gives us an idea how well we are able to explain our data. And as you can see, these two values are relatively close, even though here in this case I have used only 5 predictor variables. So this is how you can reduce the size of your data using a PCA. Thanks a lot for watching this video. I hope you have learned something about your own data projects and how to conduct a complete data project in R programming. If you are interested in the different topics that I have explained in this video, feel free to check out the video description, where I will provide a link to the different courses that we provide at Statistics Globe. So without further ado, see you next time.